moved with his family to York from Argentina. After working various jobs, he decided to focus on a career in art, starting with obtaining a master's degree from the University of Leeds.
I think I always had a very good eye for art, for painting. It was always there since I was a kid. I never saw a painter working. It was much later in life when I realized, oh yeah, you can do this and be serious at the same time. I have like a clear vision of what I want to do when I'm painting. The struggle is to reach that point because you have the vision, but to go from A to B is the difficult part. And it's a nice challenge. I suppose it's like for some people playing football, it's a challenge to conquer something that is difficult.
To pay for his master's degree, Andre runs life drawing classes in a community centre in York.
And I started, considering what can I do in days that I'm free with a lot of flexibility and ideally something that I enjoy. I started talking to the community center and they were very keen on it. 2 weeks later, there were 24 students. We all love drawing. It's a great experience because some of them, they will come to prepare a portfolio. Some people have been doing art years ago and they're just enjoying going back to do art. The life drawing, you'll have a look, but it's quite a lesson. It's not just setting the group and doing a drawing. There are 3 exercises every lesson. The model, and this is what we're going to do in the first step. It's just the surrounding areas about the drawings, nothing within the drawing. Yes? Usually one of the problems that we have in life drawing is that we start doing the things that catch your attention, the nose, the ears, then we start opening, and then we find that the rest of the drawing is outside the paper. In this case, we're going to do the opposite. You will put the limit and try to put the whole body within the paper, and in good proportion. Every exercise is trying to take you out of your comfort area for you to do something new. And then there is a long pause for you to apply those exercises, and there is a little bit of criticism about the work that we do. But in good proportion. I think it's very interesting as well because most of these people are working a lot. Some of them, they are young parents with young kids. So the life drawing lesson, as you were seeing today, is a social day. It's so difficult. We have this break after an hour, and we have a tea and chocolate, and then we have to go back to work. And it's so difficult sometimes to push them to go back to work because they want to keep chatting. It's the social moment.
Some of my friends are completely horrified, don't understand it, and I do get a bit of jib from some of my mates down the pub. It's something that everybody's got, but not everybody's got the confidence to do it.
I don't think art can change the world, but I think art can definitely put a big problem on the table for people to talk about it. And for me, particularly in this case related with Argentina, there are so much myth and taboos and things that I thought that those paintings should serve to the purpose to be on the table and people be able to talk about things that had happened openly.
In 1976, the right-wing Argentinian military controlled by General Jorge Rafael Videla overthrew President Isabel Perón and took control of Argentina. The army and police started arresting people who opposed the takeover. During the 7-year period of the dictatorship, it is estimated that 30,000 people disappeared after being arrested, kidnapped, and at times tortured for information by the army. Children of the disappeared still don't know the fate of their parents.
By doing so, they exterminate a generation. They kill around 30,000 people. They are the disappears. They put a lot of people in jail. A lot of people have to flee the country, and it was a disaster. We have 7 years of the most brutal dictatorship, and amongst the disappears is my dad. One night, just before the dictatorship, they start doing trials about kidnapping people, getting information from them, and from that information, kidnapping other people. And in November 1975, my dad was working at the hospital. After the hospital, he had to go and visit some patient. And somewhere during that time, he was kidnapped by the army, and we never knew about him anymore. So that was quite a thing, because for so many years, we didn't know what happened to him. In fact, we never found his body.
Andre also teaches art in his gallery to pay for his master's degree.
I started, or before I started looking for a master, and I matured this idea of having a change in career. And this master in Leeds was almost purely based on practice. They were keen on the project, but they said, we would like you to develop a series of painting. It was my tutor that says, well, you have this background in human rights, why don't you put the two of them together and do something about that? I was very keen on portrait, and they said, well, you can do portrait, but expand it a little bit more. And then I took on the Argentinian dictatorship. So this particular painting is called 1976, which is the year of the coup d'etat. And one of the things I found interesting about the dictatorship in Argentina is people always talk about the army like the same way that people always talk about Hitler during the Second World War, as if it shows Hitler managed to kill all the people. And I want to project the idea that those are the three forces behind the coup d'etat: the church, the economical power, and a portion of the Argentinian society that they were always afraid of change.
In order to help pay for his master's degree, Andre is also running evening piano lessons from his home.
In an ideal world, in an ideal situation, in a year's time, in 2 years' time, I would love to find a job teaching art, and I'm trying to concentrate all my activities into art. 3, 4, If I can to move into just painting and teaching art, that would be ideal. And if in 10 years' time I could just focus on painting and not even teaching, that would be even better. Yeah, that would be the plan. You know what negative space? Do you remember what negative space means? You do all the outside lines, but nothing in this. But when I came to York, I couldn't say a word in English. So it was quite tough at the beginning. From 3 years I worked in restaurants, amazing peeling onions. But the bank says to me, we are not going to give you the money for you to rent the place. If you run a business, you may get the money. And I put a business plan, and they said, oh, that looked great. I copied the business plan for the internet. I remember I did the logo, all the rubbish in one night, and they gave me the mortgage. And I opened the gallery. We call it the gallery. It's the size of your toilet. It's really small. And I start teaching there. I realized at that point that I can make a living of something I really love doing. For the first time, I saw I can put the two things together. Oh, I like this one, and maybe I can live of doing this. It took me a long time to put it one and one together. Well, why not going into a change in career, doing a master in art, and taking the risk and see if I can do it. I suppose because I was 40, it's one of those middle-age crises. But I started thinking where I want to be in 2 years' time. And I was so worried about starting a master with 2 kids. I have 4 mortgages, and I don't have a job. And I was thinking, my God, starting a master in art full-time with all these things. And I remember this guy, the journalist, he says to me, well, yeah, it's a risk to start, but it's a bigger risk if you don't do it.
Andre is set to finish his master's by August 2014.